Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. I am AC, and welcome to another edition of Let's Give It a Voice here at the Voice of Hope Media with myself, AC Mbeng. So, today we have another special edition. I usually like to call our editions, all of them, they are very special because all the topics or everything we discuss here, they are all very special. So, which makes each edition here very, very special. So, today we are on the 26th day of June 2022, and it's almost the end of June. It's almost halfway to the end of 2022. Who would have thought? So, welcome everyone. You're watching live on our Facebook page, The Voice of Hope Media, and you're also watching on our YouTube channel. So if you're just joining in, we are just starting, and you can either watch from our YouTube channel or from our Facebook page, and do invite your friends to watch as well. Like I said, I am AC, your host today, and this is the Voice of Hope Media. At the Voice of Hope Media, we give a voice to those societal issues, to those difficult conversations where many people think they are too emotional, too sensitive, or still taboo topics to be discussed publicly. But here at the Voice of Hope Media, we give a voice to such issues in order to educate, to empower, to inspire, and to give hope to those who are facing challenging and complex life issues, including special educational needs. And we do so in order to let you know that you can speak up and you can speak out, knowing that this is a safe space for you to be able to talk, for you to be able to share your stories without being judged or stigmatized. So, today, our special topic is the complex relationship between sickle cell disease, pain, and mental health. Yes, sickle cell has a strong relationship with pain, and also we will be learning today that sickle cell has a relationship with mental health. Who would have thought? Apparently, so many things these days, so many illnesses, so many diseases do affect our mental health, either directly or indirectly. And why sickle cell disease? The 19th of June every year is celebrated worldwide. If I'm wrong, guys, let me know. It is celebrated worldwide as World Sickle Cell Day, where organizations, individuals affected, and well-wishers, and also families and carers come together to raise awareness on this disease that is that's affecting so many people out there. But many still do not talk about it. Many still regard it as a taboo topic. So today we are going to give a voice to this special topic. And what I usually say is, when you've listened to one conversation on this platform, you learn, you unlearn, and you relearn. Because what we do, we educate, we empower, we inspire, and we give hope to these people who are facing these challenges. Because you may be wondering, everyone facing a challenge can either be your sister, your brother, your relative, you're someone that you're related to. It can just be your next door neighbor. Unfortunately, sometimes we stigmatize, not knowing that you may be saying that this issue is none of your business, but it's standing right there knocking at your door, maybe at its own time. So you are welcome. And do remember to share and invite your friends as well to watch with you so that we all learn. So now here on the studios today, we have Njay. Budge Jay has been here before. We have Ayubi Sunshine and Chantal. She's also AC. Then we have Mustafa Daboy. So there's a little bit of network issues, but we will get there despite what. So these are our special guests for today. So our topic of discussion once more, everyone, is the complex relationship between sickle cell pain and mental health. So our speakers are going to share this topic into three parts. Jay will talk about sickle cell disease, schooling, and depression. um, AC is going to talk about sickle cell delayed growth in puberty and mental health. And then our dear Mustafa, the only gentleman in our midst today, is going to talk about sickle cell and mental health in men. He's the only man in our midst today. So, AC, while you are here and your network seems to be very, very stable, so do us the honors for an introduction. And we just want to welcome you more, especially for into our platform, because this is the first time you are here today, and we hope you don't leave today and you leave for good. We wish to see you back here often.
Okay,
All
well,
right.
I hope so too.
Yeah, your introduction, please.
Okay, so my name is Ayuk Bisong Anshantal. I'm a person living with sickle cell. I am a journalist. I am a climate lover. I am a mother. I am I am a wife. And I am a sickle cell patient advocate. And so that's me, long and short. And sickle cell is something that it goes everywhere with me. It's like that little thing that you carry everywhere in your bag. And even when in my work, um, it's part of me. So I'm always kind of choosing career lines which have to do with um, policy areas or areas that somehow would touch sickle cell or would leave an impact on people living with sickle cell, knowingly or unknowingly. So well, so that's me, and thank you for having me, AC. Oh, it's great to be in a show where the host is AC.
Yeah, that's interesting. I remember the first time we met on the comment section. I think on the Ariachi's post, and you said, "Oh, I'm also AC," and
Yeah.
that was so. Thank you so much. Yes, guys, I actually forgot to mention that here at the Voice of Hope Media, as we give a voice to these issues, we don't choose any person to give a voice. We choose experts with a difference. And what I mean is, we choose people who are living that experience, and they are here today because they are going to tell you their stories. They haven't read their stories from a book. They haven't sat in a classroom to listen to a lecturer give them or tell them what sickle cell is, how it affects another person, but they are saying it from their day to day experiences. And that not great? Is that not wonderful? Is there any other teacher better than someone with a lived experience? So thank you so much, guys. And I just want to go to the only gentleman in our midst today, who is our Mustafa. In short, he wants to be called Tafa. You're welcome.
Thank you, AC. And then thank you to Auntie Njay and then Auntie Anne for having me on the show with you guys. I have so much to learn from you today. Okay, this is my first time doing this, and then I go by the name Mustafa Dabo, and in short, people call me Tafa. Yes, so honored to be here on this platform. And then I am not a sickler. I term myself as a warrior, not a sickler. And then I am a newly graduate nurse. I have passionate. I have passion for modeling, and then recently crowned as Mr. Tourism the Gambia in 2022. And then I like advocating for mental health. I guess in short, that's me. Yeah. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes, that's
You get
wonderful. Yes, wonderful, guys. I didn't know we had Mr. Tourism in our midst today. We have a model in our midst today. You're welcome
exactly.
once more.
Thank you
And
very much.
yes, and we are really grateful for you honored our invite to be on our show today. It's a pleasure for our team. And yes, I like the fact that you regard yourself as a warrior, which is brilliant. And our Auntie Jay, come on, Mama Latifa. We need another
So,
introduction for this special show today. I
I know,
think
like she just wants to join always. This girl, she was lying down having. I mean, suddenly, I don't know, she had your voice or somebody. I like your red top. It's very nice, very sickle cell. That's our
yes.
color, by the way, red. So
Mm-hmm.
sorry, I don't know. My network is very bad. It's been kicking me out, in and out. I tried to share it on Facebook, but it will not even let me.
Oh,
So I am Njaimeh, and they call me Auntie Njay. Sometimes Mustafa will call me Ma. I said, please, I haven't gotten that age. Please don't call me Ma. I'm not talking to you today for calling me Ma. Auntie Njay, I can accept that one. Sometimes my mom will call me Auntie Njay. When she wants me to talk to my young one, she'll call me Auntie Njay. I know then she's telling me, you have to behave like an elder. like, so I can accept that name, but not Ma.
mhm.
So yes, so I'm a single mom to this beautiful girl, troublesome. She cannot be ignored. She's the queen. She has complex needs. So because of her, I started talking about epilepsy too. But before her, actually, it's I advocate for sickle cell since 2007 because I live it. So I am a warrior. So that's our story, really. And I think mine has been that of you said we are experts. I think yes, not because we read it, but because we live it. And from our life experience, we have become experts. And gradually, we know what to do, what not to do. Sometimes, of course, it comes by surprise. Like I have leg ulcer, I haven't had it before, so you are like, I don't know what to do. But yes, in that way, we're experts. So yes, I think our stories is really about striving and surviving and then thriving. Each time you survive, so you thrive because you know what not to do next. Or when it comes again, it will not, knock you down as hard as before because you've learned a lesson or two. And that's why we have the Soldiers Be magazine. Me and AC are on that. The other AC, not the one for Voice of Hope Media. Just trying to and Ari, of course, and others. Just trying to tell the sickle cell story from our point of view, because most of the times the stories we hear about sickle cell is only about suffering, the pain. Yes, there's a lot of suffering and pain, and sometimes daily pain, but our lives are more than that. So that's really the story we want to share. Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you so much once more for being in our midst today, and especially to Queen Latifah. Yes, in most of our challenges, sometimes we fail to look at the good days because we concentrate so much on the sad part of our stories, sad part of our challenges. But no matter what challenge you face out there, no matter what you've been through, there's time to smile. There's time to use that experience and help another person. And that's why when you're living with a condition, there's nothing as brilliant as using your experience to help another person out there, which is something I learned out of my own experiences. There's joy in using what you've been through to help another person going through a similar thing. It may not be the same as yours, but there's some similarities. There is some similarity in it, in that there's a challenge and then there's someone going through it. And you can only uh, go through these experiences sometimes by talking to another person, by sharing that experience. And that's one of the things we do here at the Voice of Hope Media. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. And remember to share and invite your friends. So we are aiming to start with Tafa. I think his network is playing up a little bit. He's going to give just a few minutes because he has some other thing to attend to. So he's got about 5 minutes to share his experience. We'll talk about sickle cell disease and mental health in men. Then we will go to AC, who is going to talk about sickle cell disease, delayed growth in puberty, and also mental health. So, generally, our topic of discussion today is sickle cell and mental health. How sickle cell pain and how that relationship is, and how this affects those who are going through it. And it will also be interesting to know that when you are going through this journey as a sickle cell patient, you are not the only one going through, because your carers, your parents, your siblings, and everyone, your friends, they are going through it with you. So we are here to support each and every one of you. So while we are waiting for Mustafa, AC, can you start, please? So over to
Okay.
you.
Okay, thank you. Coucou Latifa. Oh, so sickle cell and mental health. That's
She had that name, she's looking for you.
I always like to say that when you live with sickle cell disease, I still remember something my mom told me is that you have to have the mental, like the French people say, mental d'acier. You have to have a strong mental capacity because your battle is not only on your body, it's first and foremost here. If you leave it here, or if you're defeated here, the rest of the body would follow suit. That's sickle cell for you. Because it is only the brain, it's only your mental that can keep you going when those pains are tearing you apart. And you don't even know what to do to stop the pain. The painkillers are not working anymore. And you see, you get the doctors tell you that, they can't give you anymore because they've given you more than enough and they can't increase it. You just have to find some corner in your brain and psych yourself out of it to the point where you could give yourself sleep, without which you can just go. I don't know. You might just blank out. There were times when I was younger when I really used to blank out. Like the pain becomes so much that I kind of self-induce myself into like a just to go unconscious because of the pain. And there are times when, as I grew up and I learned to fight it, not just in my body, but in my mental, in my head, there are times when the pain is so much that I start thinking of something nice, good memories. And that's why when I met Njay and she spoke of the concept she had to have this lifestyle magazine, creating positive stories, it's very, very essential for persons living with sickle cell and for persons living with any form or any challenge of any kind. Because it is when those hard moments come, it is those positive stories that we dig in to find rest, to find, to resource, to kind of tap strength that, okay, this is one bad moment, but it's not going to be forever. And there were some good moments in the past, and we kind of hold on to those good moments and say, okay, we are going to go out of this and we'll have some more good moments, and we hold on to that. We all need that, to something to hold on to. It might be some nice moment with friends, it might be some nice moments with family. And that's why when you live with sickle cell disease, you need the family support, because it is when you are with family, when you're with loved ones, that you can create those moments that you can always tap into psychologically when you are like in your lowest of lows. And if I have to talk about sickle cell and um, mental health, I would also talk about another part in sickle cell, which is a lot of times often underlooked. There is the pain, there is the crisis episodes and all. There is the leg ulcer and all of its complications. But then there is a part that, like the rest of sickle cell, is not seen. It's the growth. I went through sickle cell, and like Njay said, we go through sickle cell and sometimes we learn, and then there are some things that we've never seen, and it happens like that. I was in primary school, and that's when I started noticing that something was not happening to me, because at like primary six, well, other pupils my age were already beginning to, shoot little breasts. Some were already discussing about tampons, in their little corners. Well, I kind of told myself it's fine. It's okay. Maybe I'm just a bit slow. But when I went to secondary school, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years of secondary school, and then nothing was showing, and everybody was beginning to talk about it. So you have to fight and keep a strong psyche, a strong mental stability, only living with sickle cell and fighting the stigma that's in it. Stigma that sometimes comes from really close, from people whom you wouldn't have thought would come. And then you come and notice that That same sickle cell is making you not to have the outlook of a girl your age, and you have to add all of that into the combination of sickle cell. And Africa, the moment something is not in the mold that society has cut it to be, there is trouble. So people would wag their tongues, people would talk. At that age, I actually got people who ask me, "Are you sure you're a girl or you're a boy?" And you go through secondary school, high school, university, nothing is happening. And then people start saying, maybe, this family has something. The children are not like girls. The girls are not like girls. They're not sure they'll get married. And then you start seeing at the age in university, when first year university, when people are already, classmates are already into relationships, I am in my corner. And that acts in your head, because if you don't have a strong psyche, sometimes you just feel like maybe you're cut from something else, you're different. That's when you really see that, apart from the pain and everything that makes you feel different, you're really different. And you get people who make you know it, and it's painful. And mentally, it's something you have to battle with, because it comes with a lot of rejection. It comes with a lot of questions. Why is this? Why is it this? And if you don't have somebody who explains it to you, you wouldn't know how to deal with it. You wouldn't know how to grasp it, what to do. And a lot of girls with sickle cell disease don't know about this, because it's a topic in sickle cell disease that is still relatively not shared. And it's something that happens for the girls as well as for the boys. Retardation in puberty, it's not just for girls. It happens to warrior boys as well as warrior girls. And it's something that those who of us in the warrior community, in the sickle cell community, who have gone through it, who know it, we have to be sharing this so that others would learn, so that others would know that at a certain time you may have this, that at a certain time you may have this, and at a certain time you it's going to come. You won't be able to stop it, but and so you know how to prepare for it. So
Yeah.
it's something we have to prepare, or we have to keep it in mind. And when it comes, we need all the support we can get to be able to build that mental strength, because like every hard moment, if you don't battle it in the mental, in your head, in your psyche, it becomes very difficult. And it it can come with depression. You can just sit and want to end it all. I've had people who want to end it all. I've
Yeah.
had other warriors who say, please let it just end, I just want to go.
Mm.
It's just too much. You're fighting, they're telling you that, oh, you can't live to 14, and then on top of that, even the small okay, even the small developments have come now, let people at least see me as a normal person. It's not coming. So you can't live to 14 or to 24. You are not even looking like a girl or a boy, and then you are in between, and you're like, just let this thing end, let it end, let me go and have peace. And so that's the part when it comes with that, you see the mental health side in sickle cell. We need to factor always mental health when it comes to sickle cell, because like in very difficult situations, how you handle things in your psyche plays a lot. And how you bear whatever is happening around you, the stigma and all, it plays a lot, because all of this, it hits the mental first and foremost before it even hits anything. The pain and the hurt of what people say, it goes to your mind. When you pass and somebody tell you, look at that girl, she's not wife material, look at her eyes. You want to, you're like, my. So it means I'm just bypassing. I'm just like some dead leaf passing, yeah? It rankles in your brain. You sit and you have that playing like non-stop music. And if you're not solid, if you don't have that support, or maybe friends that you can talk to and get to ease up your mind, you might just say, okay, I am ending it all. So that's been my experience. And I think it's one of the many things that has gotten me to start advocating and teaching people. I started way back in, what was it, 2005, as a journalist, because I was the funny thing is, I was the one. Now my employers were sending me to do those reports whenever it was World Sickle Cell Day. They'll send me there. Though whenever it was a health report that has to be done, they'll send me there, because somehow they were always saying, you're always around doctors, you seem to know them a lot, so go there. And when I went to hospital, sometimes I would see a young person who is ill, and that person doesn't know that they have sickle cell. I just look at their eyes, I look at their fingernails, I look at their skin, and I'm like, are you okay? Have you asked your parents to take you to do this test? It's called an electrophoresis test. They would be like, nah, nah, nah. I'll just pinch either the head nurse or somebody and say, please, please, so you people should insist for this family to go and do this thing. And the next time I'm coming, I'll see the mother who would say, Abeg, how did you know?
Mhm.
We did that test and they say my child has sickle cell. I'll smile and say, you want me to shock you? Say, yes, I live with it. I've been living with it for 20 plus years now. And they'll be like, how do we do? This child is always sick. We don't know. We want to remove them from school. I said, just stop. Don't stress. Your child is like everybody else, but you just have to manage it like everything. It's just management. Take it as it comes, one day at a time, and you'll see. So that's how I started. And that's been the journey so far. Oh, I'm sorry. I have little other Latifas around.
Obviously,
They're
yeah,
making noise.
that's okay. That's okay. Majority of us coming on the show here are parents, and everyone watching a show here or an episode here knows that we are parents, and occasionally our children will pop in to our show. I myself, the boys are there, and they'll be knocking very soon. So thank you so much, AC, for that brilliant presentation, brilliant start to our show, and it's really mind blowing. I like the fact that she said you have to have a strong mental capacity in order to be able to go through what sickle cell brings. And then she also said only the mental can keep you going when the physical pain is tearing you apart. That's very powerful, isn't it? So thank you once more, guys, for watching. I am AC, the host here today, and our topic of discussion is the complex relationship between sickle cell, pain, and mental health. And AC also mentioned that oftentimes the mental health aspect of sickle cell is not really brought out clearly, and also the puberty. To be honest, I never thought about it. I don't know a whole lot uh, about sickle cell, but I think that's really something that people have to give a voice to as often as possible. And giving a voice to these issues is, in a way, trying to stop or minimize stigma. People being stigmatized, individuals being stigmatized, and then they ended up with a mental health illness or with a mental health problem. You don't want to add more illnesses to the one you already have. And I also love the fact that you also said there are times where with the crucial pain, sometimes somebody just wants to end it. And I do understand also when someone with depression who doesn't even have sickle cell disease, especially those who have committed suicide or those who attempted suicide, you ask them why. They all they wanted was to end it, to put a stop to that pain. So you can imagine the physical pain that comes with sickle cell and then the pain that comes with depression. Imagine the two of them combined together. Then you guys must be really, really strong and courageous. So thanks so much, AC. And we will go to Jay to start to give us an introduction of what she's going to talk about today. Her network doesn't want her to talk today, and also Tafa's network is playing up as well. So while we are waiting, AC, I picked up something from your talk, your brief talk there a few minutes ago. You mentioned that with your experience you can actually suggest that your uh is it okay? Is it okay?
Yeah, yes. Oh, I'm sorry about that. He's okay. Well, I have two little persons who are
What
always competing.
what's life without competition?
Yeah, the thing it's funny. There's a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, and the 2-year-old suddenly thinks that because he's tall as a 5-year-old, or they play together, so he can, brush his way around, which is not
Oh
true,
my
really.
god.
But then when he tries to, and then the 5-year-old says, "Oh, I'm the boss here," and then that's when
Mhm.
the cries come.
Oh, yeah. So, and I'll come back to you now that Jay is here. I'll come back to you with the question I was about to ask you. Jay, are you two okay? So we are waiting to hear from you.
Yes, yes, just started making noise. I think she wanted to join in the song they are singing in Nancy's house there.
Okay.
Tafa couldn't come. He's having internet problems. I don't know. I don't think
Okay.
he's still here.
All right. That's fine.
Yes, it's just some of the things she said is so true. Like, we always say you have to go and do the genotype test to know if you have sickle cell because you cannot tell by looking. But we ourselves that have lived sickle cell for so many years, we just look at you, we know that you are one of us. Like, there's just something. Most of the time, the way I
Uh-huh.
can tell it, I just have to look behind your legs and I know you are part of me. Come. So yeah, so we can tell in that way. And then, like she said, the greatest battle for someone living with sickle cell is actually the mental. If you can like win the war with the mental bit, then you have won. Like you have really won the fight with sickle cell. It's that it's that important. Like, and that is why for us, like we greatly believe, no matter what religion it is, that you have to believe in something higher than you, that somebody up there is in control. No matter what you have, there was a reason. You have to believe in that.
The network doesn't seem to be the best today, and for such an important topic, I can't really believe this. But so you're back, okay? Are you okay? Hi, hi, Mustafa. Okay,
Hi, AC.
while you are here, so it okay, so because you are here, so can you quickly just give us an introduction of your topic since you have to be rushing? So we over to you. Just let us know what you prepared for us today.
Oh, thank you very much. And then I'm being asked to speak on mental health in relation to sickle cell. And
Mm-hmm.
then I have had a fascinating and then so touching stories here. And then I think they are kind of related to mine too.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up as a kid,
Oh, we're so sorry. We're so sorry to everyone watching. There seems to be an issue with the network. So, AC, I was just about to ask you. You mentioned that sometimes you look at some individuals and you can suspect or you suspect that they have a sickle cell, and you also said when you mention it to the parents, they seem to be surprised. I I don't understand. Remember, I said I don't know a lot about sickle cell, and the little understanding I have is that sickle cell is inherited, isn't it?
Yes, actually,
Okay.
sickle cell is inherited. So what happens is, just give me a moment.
Okay.
So sickle cell is inherited. It's
Mhm.
like, let me try to just explain it like I used to do for my daughter using cartoon form. So let's say
Okay.
you have parent one, parent two, and they
Mhm.
have this little thing in their blood. When I
Mm,
used to do it for my daughter, I would draw like little flowers,
mhm,
and both of them have it, but not enough to get them sick. So it's there. It's like a little flower that's just sleeping. It's comfortably sleeping. For
mhm,
some carriers, it is not sleeping. It might be active. They may have mild crisis, but very mild because they don't have the full blown disease. But for some carriers, and when we say carriers, we use the term AS. So they have the hemoglobin defection. They have the sickle, the blood cell that is it's in their genes, but their blood is not sickled shaped like a C form, which is what happens to those of us who have the full blood disorder. So you have parent one who has that little flower which is sleeping there quietly. You have parent two who has it too, and it's there. And then when they meet, now each person's own part of that little flower joins, and let's say parent one had just enough to make half, and parent two had just enough to make half. Now when they join, it makes one full entity. Full, it means the two parts that were just dormant become now fully blown and fully awakened. And now they get into a child. And when they get into child one or child two who is conceived, that child then grows having that full blown red blood disorder. So a lot of parents used to, I've seen parents who had were actually trading accusations. You brought this, you brought this, you brought this. And I say, you know what? You two brought it actually. You both have it. And when I know, look at me, I never get sick. I say, okay, follow me. Let's visit a friend of mine. And then when they have their test results in their hands, they're like, so that's why one of the things that we advocate for a lot in sickle cell disease is for people to know their status. It's very important in sickle cell disease because there's no cure for now. The only possible way to leave it out of it, that's to live a life without sickle cell disease, is to have a bone marrow transplant. And so that means they're going to take a bone marrow cells from a healthy person who doesn't have the sickle cell and transplant it into you. And it now would reproduce healthy cells that now would replace your own. But there is a catch. It stops you from having the pain, but you still carry the gene, so you can still pass it onto your children. So that's the complex, the dilemma with sickle cell. And that's why we always advocate for people to know their status so that they know who they are getting married to, because that's it. Sickle cell develops with marriage. Carriers make sickle cell babies. So it's better for every carrier to know their status so that, please, those who don't have it, who are AAs, bear with us. You just have to work with us so that we take out this genetic blood disorder out of circulation globally. That's the only way for now, is for carriers to marry healthy people so that we give birth to either healthier children who have AA or who have AS. And as they themselves continue and get married to people who are AA2, the gene starts dying in the family bloodline. For now, that's the only hope until the day the gentleman up there, the Lord our God, who would maybe somebody would know some molecule that when you drink it, it will make that red blood cell to stop being C shaped, like a bean shape, and to become a normal sickle shape. So there's no cure. For now, it's either blood transfusions, bone marrow transplant, or hydrorexia, which are molecules that when we drink it, we go back. Our blood goes back to like when we're 3 months old. It has a bit of what they call fetal hemoglobin, which is why a lot of children are born and they don't get sick. That fetal hemoglobin keeps their red blood cells from getting becoming C-shaped. And so it's when a child has passed that age of 3 months, 1 year, and then you start knowing that a lot of us are diagnosed around 2 years, 3 years, because we've already, that fetal hemoglobin is long gone. Now we are really getting into kind of grown from babyhood, and we're no longer covered by that. So the crisis set in, because then the red blood cells now take that shape, and we start having our first crisis. And so somebody would say, but this child was healthy, born sickle disease. Why is this thing coming? And then they say, oh no, is that grandpapa that way? Is this grandmama that way? No, 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 no. It didn't grandmama any grandmama. It's been there. So that's why we are calling on everybody to know their status. It's not something complex. Just know it. Know it and keep it for the time in the future when you want to take that decision. It's just good. It's just like you know yourself. You know whether you have asthma or you have anything, so that you know when you know that you work with your Vantolin and you put it in your pocket, and prevention is better than cure. They say in Africa, so that's the best thing. Know where you stand, because as my mom used to always say, it is when you know where you stand that you know how to fight what will come your way. You don't know it, then you don't know what weapons you have in your arsenal to fight it, because you don't even know what you're fighting against. So that's our plea, bottom line, in everything, in all the advocacy that we do. Let people know their statuses, and then let our leaders, our policy heads, our head of government, to make sure that we have access to that healthcare. Because beyond the sickle, as Njay and I used to say, they are human. There is a woman, there is a man, there is a Mr. Tourism, there is a young nurse, there's a young doctor, there's an engineer, there's the next person who might even discover how we can live in Mars. Beyond the sickle, there are all of these people who can be taxpayers, who are taxpayers, who can be tomorrow's superstar. We just need to have the access to health, just like everybody else. And that's why whenever I'm counseling young people or young warriors, I tell them, don't put the sickle too much in your head. You are first and foremost human. Now you have the sickle. And that's how you fight it in your head. That's how you don't let the sickle get here and destroy here. Because if it destroys here, you're finished. You're finished. You can't control anything anymore. The slightest pain racks you down. But when you can control here, when the pain hits, you come out with we call them battle wounds. It might be a leg ulcer, it might be hip operation, it might be something that would maybe keep you not as you were before, but here pulls you out of it and makes you go back to what you had left before. So that's our call, and bottom line, that's it.
Hmm. Wow, that's wonderful. Really, really wonderfully explained, AC. And yeah, because it used to puzzle me why parents will be surprised that their children have sickle cell, because my expectation is parents should have known their statuses. But from what you've said, unfortunately, some parents don't know. Some parents are not aware, and at times I can't really say was it deliberate or not, given the fact that sometimes if if that's known, it may stop two people from getting married. So it's it's complicated. So, but the key thing to do is for the awareness. Yes, it's to know your statuses.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
people.
sometimes when we have, sorry.
Sorry, can I come in?
Yes, Mustafa. Yeah, you go on.
Yes,
Carry
please.
on.
Yes,
Since you are
I
going,
just
yeah.
want to start from where AC stopped.
Yeah.
Yes, anything that you put, yes. She's made mention of like the brain, anything that you put in the brain, you cannot control it. The brain, it's the powerhouse of the body. And then when it shuts down, everything goes wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So like before I go, I just want to put this across as a nurse and then African guy living in Africa. What I observe, there is this particular gender. I mean, so sorry, I am not technologically inclined, but my camera it's not working. Are you
That's
getting
okay.
me?
Yes, we are getting you 100%.
Yes, my camera is not working. Yes, there is this particular gender that I want to talk about. They always act or play strong even if they are on the verge of dying. Still, they will pretend. They will rather die than saying or opening up to such issues. being in mental health, sickle cell, any other disease. That is men. Oftentimes we hear people say men are supposed to be hard and they are supposed to be strong, but how often do we know that or hear people say that they are being depressed? And then most of the times they are being abused, and I hear people say that men don't cry. Cry, it's a natural phenomenon. So men are supposed to cry. Men are supposed to have Men have panic attacks, and then they have insecurities. Men have body issues, and then eating personality disorders. So many disorders men have. As long as we are human, we are having life. There is only one difference between us and then the females or the ladies, that is to conceive. So aside from that, we all have our general similarities. Sorry, my camera is gone again. So to me, the society has a part to play when it comes to mental health in relation to sickle cell. There is this myth or preconceived mindset that we have in our society, which we need to change. And then I believe, because that is something I have lived for almost 2 decades now. Looking at our family settings, men don't apologize. In fact, even if they do, it's just one in every 10 men. And statistically, they are 4 times likely to commit suicide than women. So it is something that we have to change. Everything is our mindset. We grew up in a society where our parents are being forced to marry each other without even seeing one another. And then you might not even know the condition of the other partner, whether he or she has sickle cell, whether he or she have HIV and any other illnesses. So it is something that we have to look into positively. Yes, and I guess that's it.
Right. Thank you so much, Tafa, and really appreciate your candid explanation. Then men are supposed to be strong. That's one of the stereotypes, one of the myths that men experience out there. Yes, that
Sure.
they are supposed to be strong. And I like the fact that you said the only difference between the genders, the man and the woman, is that the woman can conceive. There are all the rest are quite similar. A man is supposed to cry. A man is supposed to express his emotions. He's supposed to be vulnerable. Unfortunately, we are in a society where the man is expected to be strong. The man is expected to man up when he's facing such challenges. A man is not supposed to say, "Oh, I've got depression or I have a mental health issue," because the people may look at you as a weakling, but that's not what it's supposed to be. Because
Can I
whatever
jump in?
illness,
Did I jump in?
yeah,
Exactly.
whatever
Oh
illness
my God.
we experience, we go through,
See what you're
men
doing
are also
today.
supposed to experience as well.
That's okay. I see
So
it.
yeah, so thank you so much,
Sure.
Mustafa, for that. It also goes a lot to every other man watching, and what we are going to learn here today, and what everyone is going to unlearn and relearn after watching this edition.
It's okay.
So I'll come to you now, Jay, to continue, if Latifa
Yes,
permits.
permits. Yeah, the queen. I thought she has gone on, so I can talk. So I wanted to quickly jump in. So if it starts, I can go back. But yeah, she has her face like anyway. Yeah, it's just when Mustafa said, men should know they are human. It's just what AC was saying. Before your sickle cell, you're a human first. Before you're a man, you're a human first. So men
Exactly.
should know that. So like women, they're supposed to show their emotions. They're supposed to be sensitive. It's just that sensitivity and vulnerability, if you like, it's just you should know which group of people you want to be vulnerable to, because not everybody should be in audience when you are vulnerable, because some people can use it against you. but you have to be. We are supposed to cry as human beings. In fact, I read somewhere the tears that come out, they are very healing. It has something in it. I'm not sure if it's a chemical, but there's a dot that when you cry, it smooths you, and that's why you're supposed to cry. Even if you cannot do anything about it, the
Exactly.
moment you cry, I don't know how many of us will cry sometimes if something really bothers us. Like last time with my leg, also it was very, very painful that day I cried. It was not just the pain, but the frustration of getting care here in the UK. Like you have to really advocate for yourself, even when you're in pain. That's frustration. But the moment I cried, the pain was still there. I felt a little bit better, and that's why you're supposed to cry, even as men. It's just that you should know where you cry. Where you cry. That's why, like, most of us who have advocacy organizations, we always include counseling so that we can provide a space for you, so that you can just let your guard down and then cry if you need to. If that's sometimes that's all you need. In fact, sometimes as people living with sickle cell, that's all we need. We don't want to come to you for you to fix anything, especially for those of us who have lived with sickle cell for so many years. We already know what to do. Sometimes we just want to cry, so just give us that space to cry, and that's why, whether as a man or a woman, if you need to cry, cry.
It's a coping
So what I was
mechanism.
talking about,
Mm.
yes, yeah, it is. It is a coping mechanism. It's
It is a
very healing.
coping.
So, hmm? Sorry, it's breaking. And then I know you
Yeah,
said something
you
about,
can proceed.
I
You can
didn't get.
proceed. You can proceed.
Yeah, so I was talking about
You
the
can proceed.
importance of believing, yeah, in something higher than you, whatever you call God that is. You see, faith is so important that Einstein said, science without a faith is lame, and faith without science is blind. So you have to believe in each, but you just have to balance it. Yes, you have to believe in science, because with science, hopefully, maybe soon we might have a cure for sickle cell, but right now we don't have a cure.
Okay.
Except if you are lucky,
So,
maybe if you are young enough and you do the bone marrow
okay.
treatment and it works for you, then you have a cure. But
Mm-hmm.
still, people are saying you still carry the gene. So which
Yeah.
means if you are going
Begin.
to get married, then you have to be careful who you get married to.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So,
It
Jay,
is
So who knows?
scientific.
Science is advancing.
can I come in? Can I
It's
come in?
even
Can I
Yes,
come in?
please.
okay. Okay.
Mindful of our time. Jay, your topic, sickle cell schooling and depression. Can we start on that? And then yeah, because
Talk about
we
it.
are
Yeah.
almost
Yeah.
we've been here almost for an hour. So and the network hasn't been very good.
Oh,
So
yeah. It
yeah,
has not been great.
we
Yeah.
are also
Okay, that's
mindful that
fine.
there are kids waiting for us as well. So we don't
Of
take too
course, for
long.
the comments, and we see what people are saying. Yes,
Yeah.
like when AC was talking about puberty, that retardation, and she explained a bit about what you go through in school. That's just a bit of it. Like, because like everybody else, I sent you a point. Maybe if time permits, you can read it at the end, because I'm using my phone and it's on my phone, or you can just put it in the comments. It just tries to explain what we deal with at school. If all your mates are, growing up, they are talking about bras and boys, and you don't know what they're talking about. Like, these people are so weird. What are they talking about? But they are also looking at you as weird, because they're talking about something like that. You don't have a clue. You're still thinking about you're in haste for break times to come, so that you can go and play prayer kara in the school, because you're still a little child. You don't know what they're talking about. So
Mhm.
that's what happens in school, and because of that, we know that school environment is very, very important. You might be as intelligent, but if you feel you don't have the support, the group of people, that's why teams everywhere is important. So if you don't have people that you can call yourself, like, this is my group that I belong to, you somehow do not really pay attention to school as you used to. When school should be fun for you, it can be a cause for anxiety. Now, we were talking about pain in relationship to sickle cell. Let me give you my story. Like, when I was going to primary school, middle school, I had a very foolish cousin. If he hears me today, he's 2 years older than me. Like, but for some reason, I'll be fine. Like, when we break on Friday, I'll be very fine Friday, but especially Saturday, I'm so fine. I'm jumping up and down, sometimes helping with house shows. Suddenly Sunday comes and lying there in pain. Like, I don't know, but my body just shut down. And then we didn't really understand sickle cell as we do now. So they will bring, there's one tree now they'll cut and tie for my waist, because it's really joint pains here and my legs, their ankle joints. And then he will start singing for me. I don't know. He was that young, but I think it in his mind, whether unconscious or conscious, he knew that for some reason there's just something odd about Njaimeh. Like they call it Mojo Njay at home there. Like she's fine, but Sunday she's sick. And then she started singing for me like Dembala Dimas. And that one, literally to translate it, it means like we're Sunday today. But he's telling me yesterday was Sunday. I think in his own way, for me to forget that actually we are in Sunday, I think he started to join the dots. And just thinking back to it, like when I was writing that poem, I realized, it must be the anxiety of Monday morning, because every Monday morning, our teacher then, she will have hot mental. We are supposed to know the times table. So the first thing we do on Monday morning is she will come round with her ruler. It was wooden, and we all had to stand up. And then she would just come round. So she just come round randomly. She will ask you your times table. You're supposed to know. If you do not know, she will hit you. So I think that the anxiety of that. So you have to really know it offhand. All the times they 1 to 12. That is how we were schooled. So every Sunday, non-failing new, every Sunday I'll get sick and I have crisis. I didn't know why. And the other stage, primary school, middle school, I wasn't doing so well. Middle school even, like I was among the second, like the bottom half of the class. It's just because like you're going to school, you don't have friends. Monday coming, you have anxiety, and then there was a lot of bullying. Sometimes at the end of the class somebody wants to fight you. And I had to have to find a way to run away. So I'll tell them, okay, no problem. Advance them in the game. Maybe Mustafa will know. They'll tell you, wow, so you watch after school. Coffee comes again now. That's after school. Come behind now.
Exactly.
So that's what we will tell you.
Yeah.
But now, because luckily we are fortunate enough, we have drivers dropping us and picking us. I'll tell you back now, like if you don't come after school, the moment the bell rings, me, I'll not wait for you there, because if my driver come, I'm going. I'm not going to wait for you. I'm not that you. Right, that's what I'll tell you, just to get out of it. That's how I got out of many fights, because I cannot fight. So that's how I was able to fight, save myself. Oh, princess is not agreeing. Until later in middle school, then we had Lender Hand Society. Those in Gambia will know about Lender Hand Society. So one of prefects then, she was part of it. So at break time, late middle school, like we will start practicing public speaking and things like that. So I started joining into that, and that's when gradually I started picking up my confidence. And by the time I went to high school, my marks started picking up. So by the time I finished high school, actually I did very well. Graduated with flying colors, got a scholarship into the university. But primary school, middle school, like was very hard. And then you realize sickle cell and schooling, most of the time, that middle school and high school stage, especially when your body is beginning to change, most people drop out. We find a lot of dropouts at that age, because generally we tend to develop lately. So most people will develop at the later part of middle school or high school. And because you're trying to understand sickle cell at that age, and at the same time trying to understand your body, like your hormones coming, that change, trying to know who this new person is. It's just that combination just stresses your body even more. And of course, the stresses that come with being a teenager and you wanting to show yourself somehow. It's very stressful. And sometimes people will lag behind and drop out of school, or some will not do well. But most of the time, like without encouragement, especially schools, there's no encouragement. That's why with the Gambia Sickle Cell Association, we know that. That's why we have started getting in school to try to provide support, also create awareness so the peers can support each other. Like we have the peer health education program. That's what we are modeling, so that they can have the support. Otherwise, people tend to drop out, and not because they are not intelligent or they don't want school, which is the general misconception, but just because it's a hard period for people living with sickle cell. I'll stop here for time, so if anything, you can come back.
Forgotten to unmute myself. Thank you so much. Thanks so much, Jay, for that brilliant explanation. I was actually wondering why maybe AC will be able to help with that. Why will somebody drop out um, at a certain stage of their life at school? Does it have anything to do with their mental health, or is it because the difficulties or the struggles are a little bit too much that that they cannot concentrate anymore at school or during school periods?
Well, thank you so much for the question. And like what Jay said, it's all a matter of the support that you get. So there is the mental and there is the physical. There is the pain you go through every day that sometimes you may want to just stop because you don't want to be going through the headache of managing the pain and then managing the school. It's a lot of things to handle. And for somebody who is 10, 12, 14, that's a lot of responsibilities for a mind, a person that young, which living without sickle cell, people living without sickle cell or healthier people, they don't have the time to consider that, they just know that we are living, we are 12, we live as 12-year-olds, we go to school, we come back, we have fun, we do all the chakara and everything, and well, we may hit our toe someday and it hurts, or we may be bitten by mosquito and get malaria, and then we pull out of it. But when you are living with sickle cell, from a very young age, you become responsible. I started getting responsible as early as 7. In short, younger than 7. Because I still remember when I was like 5, I knew the routines already. Everybody had their meds boxes. Everybody's meds box had a different color as per age. You had to know that at this time, it's time for folic acid. Every morning, it's folic acid, 1 tablet before you go to school. It's for your own good, not to forget it. So my parents, and in my family were 4 of us, 4 warriors, the joy of it all. So 4 warriors, and you had to know your medication. So as early as 5, I still remember that there was the time when in the evening, it was like in military school, you just see us waking up because it's evening meds time. And everybody goes and opens their little meds boxes and takes out this one and takes out that one. And then we'll go and stand in front of our mom because she was like, if you throw it under the cupboard, I will know. So it
The joys of
There's some
being a
motherhood
mom.
the
now.
joys of motherhood. So it was that, and you get to become responsible very early in life, and that's already like a burden in such a young person. Imagine you take a 6-year-old or a 10-year-old and you start making them so responsible. They have to know that do, don't do. And for people living with sickle cell, it's a lot of don'ts and a lot of do's. Don't do that, don't do this, you can't do that, you can't do. Now things are getting, thanks to science, thanks to mass communication, things are beginning, and thanks to the fact that there are lots of people who have gone through that and have learned and are now talking about it. It's not 100% tops, but it's getting there. And if people would follow and listen and learn, it will really be much easier. But in the 80s, imagine the 80s, it was do's, don'ts. I grew up, my parents started with a lot of do's and don'ts. Don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. So in the end, I was like, okay, I go to the front, I go behind. You don't know on which leg to dance. So that's already stress in your head. And then imagine now you start going to maybe primary 7 when you're preparing for common entrance. Um, you have the stress of sickle cell, you have the pressure from family, you have the stigma from people around you, you have the fact that you're maybe 8 years, 9 years, 10 years old, and your body is not like that of every 8, 9 years old person. You combine that, and then you have the other part, which we are not even saying it, the cultural part, where people would think that this child is not worthy of being sent to school. And there are people who would come and tell your parents, stop wasting your money on this child. Stop, just stop. And some parents will listen and take you off school. That's one. Either, so if you see that there are times when it's either the child or the person living with it, who the warrior, who gets so knocked down and beaten psychologically, physically, that they say, you know what, I'm tired. Or there are times when it is the parents who listening to people around them, community talk, people in their communities, and they'll say, I can't keep on paying you school fees when I don't know whether you will live to be 24. So I take you out of school. And that's why when it comes to sickle cell disease, family support is central. It builds a lot of confidence on which we bounce on when we meet criticism from outside. It's worse when the criticism is from inside. It breaks you down. But when it's coming and then you have that family support to go back to, you can close your eye and say, I don't care what they are saying. That's how I grew up. People will talk. People came to my mom and say, you have four of them. Just take them, go and leave them somewhere. My mom asked, where does it pinch you? I have my shoe. You are complaining for my shoe. Where does it bite you? They are my children. I've not said I'm tired of taking care of them. They are just okay. But there are parents who are not as strong like that, and they'll listen. Maybe because they are listening to some senior auntie, some elderly person in the community. Then that's why we need to get sickle cell education and information into our communities. Because, like Jay said, it's either you believe in somebody up there or you believe in culture. And when culture or religion mixes with sickle cell, it's a bad cocktail. It will either make you or mar you. And so it's better to get sickle cell education into culture and religion so that people know what it is and what it is not, and they deal with it appropriately.
That's really brilliant. I must admit, emotional, yes, which is what is expected on this show. We give a voice to those issues, to those topics that are often deemed too emotional to be talked about in public. But here we are talking about them, and we are listening. We are actually watching people speaking from their lived experiences. These are sickle cell warriors telling us exactly what they've been going through as far as sickle cell is concerned and how it has affected them. It has affected their mental health. And I do believe that generally, if every parent is like your mom, AC, then so many of these challenges, so many of this, of we know of those senior aunts, senior uncles and senior grandfathers in every family who thinks they should know more than the mom or the dad, who thinks they have the first say in everything that happens in a family. I mean, if every mom was, or if every mom is to be like your mom, then awareness will have a different level. Yeah. So that's really, really wonderful. Unfortunately, Mustafa has gone. I had a question to ask him. I was really keen on wanting to know how he's coming back. Hi, Mustafa, you're back. So while you're here, I was
I'm
just about to ask you how do you support young men of your age, and how do you encourage them to take care of their mental health, especially young men who have sickle cell?
um sorry, my camera is back again. It's gone again. I think I will start with well-being, because like if you don't understand these things, there's no way that you can help someone. Yes, well-being comprises of six factors, I would say.
Mm,
This is biological, emotional,
mhm,
social, spiritual, mental, and cognitive. So when it comes to the biological, let's say this is sort of like sickle cell and then HIV. There, there are times that you don't even feel like, okay, I need to end everything now, because like the stigma and discrimination, it's too much. The pain that you go through that no one else is going through. I mean, there's a saying goes, the one who feels it knows it. So if you don't feel it, you don't know my sickness and then or the condition that I am going through. So under it, you have the genetics, and then which plays an important role in mental health, and then the drugs that we use nowadays. When it comes to the emotional factors, you have the thoughts, and then being it negative or positive thinking, the stress that we normally go through. Psychologists will call it stressors, and then the anxiety, feeling anxious all the time, being it you had gone under PTSD, that is post-traumatic stress disorder, and then social factors, you have the families and friend interaction, the support groups. So when these things are put into place, that one can say, okay, I have a very good mental or well-being. But if not, your mental state will be at stake. Yes, and then spiritually, religious also plays a very important role in our lives, and then how we deal with things, and then live with people. The culture and then the taboo, when culture comes to culture, it's an important thing, because like there is this myth and then preconceived mindset that people have about mental health and then sickle cell. So these things are they are related in one way or the other. So if these things are not put into place or consideration, like your mental health is at stake. So what I want people to understand from this topic today, it's like the coping mechanism, which is the most important thing for me. So people have different coping mechanisms. Others might be negative, and then others will be positive. So the negative aspect of it, like it entails everything. Yeah, people have wish thinking when it comes to coping mechanism. You wish that it doesn't happen to you. You wish it happens to someone else's family. It shouldn't had been you. So those are things that it affects people emotionally. And then you have avoidance. You have sickle cell all the time. You are avoiding the topic. You don't want to understand anything about the topic. So it's something that you have to know. Knowing your condition and then research about it will help you to cope with sickle cell. If not, like it will actually bring you down. And then the positive aspect of it is the positive aspect is seeking help to me, because growing up as a kid, I think as a young boy, my joyhood was being snatched away from me, because there is this thing that I do, and then my parents term it as something that I am actually used to. So it actually affects me up to today. So all I do is like go to my friends and then speak to them. Not actually everyone, but like those that can relate to my condition. And then they will offer help at any stage that I needed it. So that will make me to make sense of what happened. Yes, and then others too will have post-traumatic stress disorder. Let's say the loss of a friend or a family member. So coping for that one will be like, let's say, burying the dead person. Yes, and going back to the topic in general. So mental health, it's it affects us in all aspects of life, being it our physical, emotional, psychological, social, or emotional disabilities. So it affects how we walk, how we think, and even how we live with people, how we live our life as an individual. So men have this thing that they think it's natural to, let's say it's natural, but like to me it's not something natural, because like we are given mind, we are given heart, and then we breathe in air, and then likewise the female. So like I said earlier on, the only difference is like to conceive. So if we want to say men are like superior, or they have this bad health seeking behavior, I mean, they have something that they call, I don't, how do they call it? The social and the cultural settings that we live in within ourselves. Traditionally, society has positioned men as strong or privileged, and then breadwinners. So having perceived disadvantage such as mental illness or sickle cell makes us as seem weak or unmanly. These stigmas and then toxic muscularities more broadly ultimately create a space in which people fear speaking up. So speaking up, it's something that will actually help you in healing, in the healing process. If you don't speak up, go to meet people and then go out of your comfort zone. Don't be isolated all the time, because like what happened to me when I was child, I was being isolated. I don't talk to people. If I come from school, I'm in my house, in my bed all the time, sleeping or reading or going to Dara in our African settings. So I have this fear of speaking up, and then even up to today, I'm still battling with it. I don't speak that much, and then my attention span it's very low. So this is why I was like, okay, Auntie Njime, I need to speak to you. So I don't know how you will be able to help me, but like she's the one that has been helping me with one of my mentors. So if these things are put into consideration, the coping mechanisms to me, I think because all the hardship that we are going through, people have different hardship, being it a disease, financial wise, or any other thing. So for my own aspect, it's self-confidence. So it is something that I actually lack, but right now I am battling with it. So I think I am going through a lot, and then I'm getting through it. Yes. So this is what I want to put across, because society dictates what we live, how we live, and then how we behave. But excuses the females. Yeah. Are you getting me? Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. You said men generally are afraid of seeking help. They are afraid of speaking up,
Exactly.
but at the same time,
Speaking of, yes.
speaking up
Mm-hmm.
helps in their healing process, which
Mm-hmm.
is very, very right. And that's one of the things we encourage here at the Voice of Hope Media, to be able to speak up, because when you speak up, it's another way. It's a mechanism for you to be able to seek help, or for another person to spot you, to know that maybe you need some form of help. Also, speaking up is also to encourage another person. You give hope to another person. And Mustafa, I praise you. I really want to say I'm grateful for you accepting to come and speak up in our show
Thank you.
today. I know it's very emotional. I'm really feeling emotional, but at the same time, I have to be brave for you, for you to be strong. We are here. If you need someone to talk to, we are here. Jay is already doing that, and I'm sure AC also doing that. And then big auntie AC here. Jay, don't
Thank you
don't
very much.
don't come on, don't come for me. Jay,
No, I will not.
yeah, yeah.
I'll soon
No,
get jealous
I'm,
now. Too
I'm
many people now.
I'm saying it to Jay because she knows she knows what I mean. Yeah, that I have the broad shoulders, the ears to listen. It may not be, I may not have direct words regarding sickle cell, but generally, if you want to speak, we are here, and we also have people watching here at watching this show who can also talk to you.
Right.
I really
You didn't mention
appreciate.
Latifa now. That's why she's training to hear her name.
Oh,
Oh,
Latifa, we have flowers.
Okay.
Have flowers
As,
coming to you
well,
in the
AC,
yeah.
if I'm sorry, if I may, AC,
Mm-hmm.
just to add a little call or a little plea. Um,
Okay.
like what Mustafa said about you know, men not talking up, not speaking up,
Mm-hmm.
and then you know, and that building on, and maybe in the long run even making them not to be self-confident. I think
Yes.
I want to all of those listening, and to all of those who are moms. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's time for us to cut the bad trends that our culture has imbibed in us.
Mm-hmm.
To tell our children, stop crying, you're a boy. Please don't. Please
Mm-hmm.
don't. I did it once or twice for my son, and then I was like, reverse technology. No, please cry, cry, boo boo. You want to cry?
Yeah.
Cry, cry. Come and give me a hug.
Mm-hmm.
Cry. Feel free. Cry.
Yeah.
Because we need we when I say we now, I'm talking to us the ladies. It's true. Society tells us takes would let us go. We are comfortable with crying because society will say, girls cry, but men shouldn't cry. And
Why
I
not?
think somehow we now, as the ladies who are seeing this thing and who are mothers, and maybe even those who are going to be mothers, we should now start stepping in and trying to cut on that,
Yeah.
and trying to train our sons differently, and trying to
Mm,
let them know that it's okay to cry,
mhm.
it's okay to be in pain, it's okay to want to stay quiet, it's fine, it's okay to, to say that I hurt. I learned this from my parents, because my mom used to do something that's very funny, and I ever always ask myself why. She had what she called boys' day and girls' day. There were days that the boys were the ladies. They stayed home, they did the cooking, they did the cleaning, they just were there. And there were days that we were the guys. We were the guys. We did the car wash, we did the firewood, we went to the farm. And I still remember there was a time when I heard my mom telling my sister, my elder sister, that when I tell you to do these things and you're complaining, tomorrow I'm not going to be there. But you have to be able to have the capacity to be a mother and a father at the same time. Because I heard her telling my sister, I am an orphan. I didn't have a mother and a father. And if any, I don't wish that for you, but someday if it happens, you should be able to be mother and father. And learning that, I came to say, but we should be able to let our sons be themselves. Let not consider them just as sons. Okay, they are sons, so they're not supposed to do that. No, they are human. They can hurt. They bleed. They cry. And so my mom used to always insist whenever we go to hospital, whenever we're admitted, for all of us to be in the same room. And some doctors will say, no, we can't put boys and girls. My mom will say, please put them in the same place. So that when one is hurting too much, this sweet story from others would make them wake up.
Yeah.
And it worked. I still remember there were days when we were in crisis, and my elder brother would be in so much pain. My own pain would be like medium. My elder sister's own would be like somewhere there, and we'll start chatting. And the thing would be so sweet that he's in pain, no? He's pain, he's crying. But he would turn and say, you remember that thing? In that film, He's like, but are you still hurt? This thing is hurting me, oh. But he'll be talking. And in doing that, he'll forget about his pain. And at a certain point, we'll talk and we'll turn and look at him and say, but you have not cried like for 30 minutes, so this thing is okay now. He was like, hey, it's getting better. I think it's getting better.
Can
We
I
need
jump
that.
in?
It doesn't mean it doesn't matter whether we are men or women. But I want to plead to us, the warrior ladies, as we are getting into motherhood and having children. Let's start turning that status quo that has so stayed, and now it's still affecting our brothers and our sisters. And let's not only do it for our children. We have brothers and sisters. Let's reach out to them. Are you okay? Is there something wrong? Tell me. If you want to cry, cry. You want to shout, shout. My mom used to say, if you want to kick something, kick it. After that, she'll come and say, are you okay? Is it finished? Are you calm now? Okay, let's talk. And then you talk and you say where it hurts, or where somebody annoys you, or what's pissing you off. She'll just say, vent it out. You know, just talking to somebody is already sending it out. And talking to somebody builds self confidence. I've seen warriors who don't want to talk. They are so shy. And I think I learned how to talk from all of these things, all of these experiences with my parents, and then growing and talking to people.
And she can
I
talk too.
just learned. I just learned. It's
That's
crazy.
what happened to me.
See, it's very essential. Learning, just being able to talk, being able to say it. It's not there. And one thing that we miss out sometimes is just what people tell you. Mental health is not just how depressed it makes you and all, but there's something that you hear from people's mouth, and it actually acts into you. There's this thing about the power of the word, of the tongue. Somebody keeps on telling you you're always sick, you're always sick, you are not going to be good enough. You believe it to the point where you live it. You just accept that you are not good enough. I've seen children whose parents have
This is
spoken
how
to them that they are
passionate
not good
she
enough,
is
and they
now.
accept that they are not good enough. And it was a
She
whole long
can
process to
to
get them
him.
to accept that, I can be this, I can be that. And that's why we need role models. And that's why we need to start changing the rhetoric. so that the younger ones would get it. And even us, for us too, we'll try to
And
change all of that we've it's been put in our brains for all those years.
mhm. Yeah, and that really has a lot to do with our foundation, how the foundation was laid, which starts with parents as well. Because I want to believe, AC, that if your parents didn't give you that opportunity to be able to speak up, to for them to be able to listen to you, you would have struggled as well. So thank you once more to your parents. I have a few questions to ask each and every one of you, maybe before we round up. So Jay, I know you have something to say. Let me just ask the question, and then, so from your story, from what you explained earlier on, as far as sickle cell schooling and mental health are concerned, how do you encourage young girls and boys to continue their education despite the challenges? Are you there? So okay, while we are waiting for Jay, AC, I'll come back. I'll come to you. What
I
would you
can hear
say?
you. Yes, yes.
Okay,
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
yeah.
Yeah. So you were saying sickle cell and schooling. I didn't hear the rest of the question.
So how do you encourage young girls and boys to continue their education despite the challenges?
Oh, it has to start a long, long way back. And it's just not boys and girls, but whole of society. It starts since the day somebody with sickle cell is born. You are born, the first thing they tell your parents that she will not live. She's going to die. You tell a parent that now. That parent doesn't want to invest in that child, especially if that child is a girl child back then in Africa.
No, I
You
mean
know,
just girls, girls and boys who are at school who drop
yes,
out.
yes. So I'm saying
The
it starts
parents,
a long, long, long time ago. So if
the
you're lucky
parent
to
part.
pass age 5 and then you get into school and you have been hearing that over and over again as you celebrate each birthday, they are telling you are not going to survive.
Mhm.
So what do you do now? If you know at that time the way we look at schooling, school is a chore, it's studying, it's not something you want to do. As you get older, you realize that learning is a lifelong thing and you need to do it. You begin to enjoy it. But that time we see studying as a chore, most of us. But you are telling us that you are going to die. I'm like, what's the point of studying? What's the point of paying attention in school? I'll just go and enjoy my life. And that is how some people will drop out of school. But so how we can reverse this now is the question is it has to start from the home. If you have support from the home, like your parents, no matter what they are told, like my mother did when she was told that I was going to die, she just stand by and tell them, "Are you God? Now it's God who gave me this child. Are you God?" You have the support at home. Like it's period. Let them treat you like anybody else. Sorry. Like me, I have sickle cell, but I was brought up like my sister. She doesn't have sickle cell. So whatever she was given in terms of education, I was given the same. In fact, as the eldest, I was expected to show example, even with my sickle cell. I was expected to do well in school. So my father, my mom, they invested in us. So we were taken in school and we were encouraged to do that. But then you go to school now. The problem is there's no support in school as well. Sometimes the teachers are not
Okay, connection is
sometimes
bad.
because the way sickle cell is, you have to go for a lot of bathroom breaks because you have to use your
Okay, AC, how do you encourage young girls to embrace their differences despite the delays, based on your topic?
Well, I always tell young people the fingers of the hand are not the same.
Hmm.
We are all different. Even identical twins are different. So learn to not focus on what you're seeing as a difference for you. Use it as a source of power for you. What people say you don't have, okay, you're not menstruating, fine. That time, invest in something else. so that when the time when you would start menstruating and start having a life like every girl or every boy, rather like every girl, especially now I'm talking about development for girls, you know, you wouldn't stay and say, oh, I wish I wanted to do, I could have done this at this time. You would have done certain things that you would put you ahead of your peers in your age. I know it's difficult sometimes not to be in the same mold, but I think somehow for me, I learned to be out of the mold. I learned to know that it's not society that dictates who I should be. There is a God up there that made me the way I am. And there is something I'm supposed to achieve in this world. And so, sickle cell or no sickle cell, I'm going to make my best to achieve it. And I used to tell young girls that, now it's not there. You might be seeing your friends and say, oh, they're having a fab time, they're into relationships. It's fine. The fingers of the hand are not the same. Your time will come. And when your time comes, live it and enjoy it to the fullest. But now, set the pace, prepare yourself for when that time will come. When that time will come, it will come. And it will come also with responsibilities, like every phase in a human's life. So start preparing for it now. Start learning, start studying. Don't sit and say, okay, it's not happening to me, so I'm wasting. No, every time counts. We are live, even without sickle cell, time counts. Everybody is rushing against time because even those who don't have sickle cell, they're worried. They're like, oh, I'm 20. Oh, tomorrow I'm going to be 50. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. What have I done? What do I have to show? The body development is slow. Your puberty is delayed, but it doesn't mean it's denied. Fill your time with things that will not make you focus on it. And generally, to young people, I used to say, you guys are lucky. We have this fabulously fab thing called a telephone. Man, go inside there, go to Big Brother Google, look for courses, study. You can now get degree from Harvard without having set foot in Harvard. Study, plan, look at your life, ask yourself, what do you want to be? What do I want to be? Be going on with your life, and then when the time when the red soldiers would come, then you have that feeling of, oh, I'm a full-blown woman. But then you'll not just be a full-blown woman like that. You'll be a full-blown, well-cultured woman ready to take the world on. And for the guys, I used to tell them, do the same. Go ahead, live, plan, fill your days with things. What do you want to do? The things that people have been telling you you can't do it, tell them, tell yourself, I am going to do it, and start working on it. Study, learn. There's internet now, information is wide, broad, it's available, education is there. Somebody doesn't want to teach you, fine, go to YouTube. How to do this? I learned to plait my daughter's hair just here, COVID time. I didn't know how to plait, even simple what they call in Cameroon motobo. I couldn't do it thanks to COVID. How to make cornrows? YouTube, day one, day two. Now I'm an expert. So I tell them, learn little things like that. It makes you not focus on the things that hurt. It makes you feel your time, and it makes you develop yourself. So that when those moments when things want to hurt you come, you have a kind of a backing. You've so fortified yourself that it comes and you are like, okay, it will pass. And then I'll continue. And it gives you that assurance on yourself. Now, when I walk, and sometimes I go back and I see those people who used to walk their tongues, and I look at them. And when they talk, I just look at them. I say, you know what? I need to send you to school. You need an education. It doesn't enter into me now. It's like rainwater falling on shoulders. And that's what I tell them. Develop yourself, plan. And when the time when your body would catch up, you now catch up on the rest of the life. But now you are catching up with a lot of good things that you've had the time to prepare for. So it doesn't come to you like a surprise. And then you've created networks, you've studied, and then now you'll be able to enjoy your life. Of course, the sickle cell will come once and now and all of that. But you are more grounded, you are more mature. And that's a good thing. No time is wasted.
That's really brilliant. Use your experiences as a source of power. And it is not the society that dictates who you should be. despite your challenges. The puberty, it can only be delayed, but it's never denied. Those
Nope.
words are very powerful. Thank you so much for that. Use those moments. Look for something to do rather than concentrating on the negatives. Thank you so much for those brilliant words, AC. And let me use a few seconds or a few minutes to acknowledge those watching and see if they have any questions. So, Belsonki, one of our big sisters, one of the greatest advocates on domestic violence. She's here. She's been watching things from right from the beginning. We appreciate you, big sister. And we have our Tinto princess, our one and only warrior princess from Tinto, who is Arechi. She's here as well. And she's asked you guys to break a leg. Have you guys broken a leg yet? Thank you so much for joining in, guys, and also encouraging. So we have Dr. Ate, who has also been watching, and he actually made a comment. Sickle cell trait has a protective effect against malaria. Let's celebrate this positive while standing and supporting those with sickle cell. That's interesting. So we learn every day. That's something new. And our big sister Belsanki said, every mom needs to be like Anne Chantal's mom. Yes, I so believe that every mom should be. And Dr. Ate also says, Jay, thank you for sharing your story. Eric, who is one of our autism specialists, who is here often, and also one of the hosts here at the Voice of Hope Media, he says, great job, guys, and thank you. I'll also say same to you guys for being brave to come here today and share your experiences. I know you've already been doing that in your various platforms and in your communities, but it's a pleasure having you all here, sharing your experiences, and, encouraging others, giving hope, and educating, which is most important, educating, which is what many people need out there, especially when it comes to ignorance. You actually have to send them to that school, like Anne said, to that school. You don't necessarily have to go into a classroom to learn. And that school can actually be here. You watch sitting in the comforts of your home or wherever you are. You can still be in your car watching a show here at the Voice of Hope Media. That's you learning. And we assure you've unlearned something here as well. So I'm not sure what's happening with Njay. So we round up. We've been here. We've been here for about 1 hour 40 minutes. So I'll come to you, Tafa. Just your final words to young men out there as far as sickle cell and mental health are concerned, especially young men of your age who have just, like you said, you're a newly qualified nurse. So, do you have any final words to give them, any advice as far as our topic of discussion is concerned?
Yes, thank you very much. What I would say to my fellow guys is that go to hospitals and do checkups. They are very essential in your lives. And then before getting married, make sure you know yourself and then your spouses. Do tests and to confirm that you both are eligible to get married before getting married. Because like most of the times what will happen is you yourself will not have any issue or pain, but at the end of the day, you will put your child at risk. The child will be in pain, and then it's most of the time I would just blame them, the parents, for not doing the tests because you just love each other. You might not see each other, and then just get married. So that's one thing that I would want to tell them, to do tests and then confirm that they are eligible to get married. And then another thing, it's the coping mechanism that people use. There are a lot of things that you can do to cope with your normal stressors. So go out there, talk to people, especially your relatives, close relatives, your families, your best friends, someone who you can relate to, someone who is willing to listen to you, your problems, and then without being judgmental. So talk to the person. Maybe the person could offer you help. Explore ways of how to ease your pain. There are different ways of easing your pain. Go out there, build strong relationship with your people. Cry. I had people say that men don't cry, but like cry if you want to cry. As Auntie AC said, kick buckets if you want to kick buckets. Cry it and let it come out. Everyone hurts as far as you're having nerves and then you're having those sensitive nerves. So build relationship, have a walk, go to the beach. You can meditate there, sit alone, have a shower, and then come back. Go in the water, take a bath. Take time to relax. Take your time to relax and meditate. Learn about your condition. No, if you don't learn about your condition, you will not know what to do if a crisis comes. Your disease, it should be your number one priority, whether being a disease or condition. I would say a condition. Learn to know about your condition. Get plenty of sleep, relax. Because if you don't relax, like it will affect your activities of daily living. So if your activities of daily living are being altered, you will go into depression. So when you go into depression, you might not have anyone to help you out. So make sure that you have that rapport with your fellows, being it family, your relatives, your schoolmate, coursemate, your best friends. Have that person who is there for you all the time, and then do activities that you enjoy. You are not there to live for the person. You are there to live for yourself. What people think about you, it's none of your business. So you live your life to your fullest. It's who you are. You have your spouse there as a man. You have your spouse there. Relate the information to her. She might help you, but you are there. Okay, I have to stand strong even though I am dying, I'm being depressed and all that. It doesn't help. And then I have this message that goes to all parents out there. There are some stages, people call it developmental milestones. Your child is going through it, but you don't actually know what the child wants and then needs. What the child wants and then needs, you should be able to handle that. So this is a key thing that should be put across so that the parents will know what your child wants and then know what he or she needs. And then do not tell your child that he or she is less than of what he is. He is not less than what he is. He is less than what he is to you, but not to him or herself. Let's say a man himself. So let's accept our children as the way they are, because these developmental milestones, children have different types of sickness or conditions, but like how parents cope with it, it's actually something that is very frustrating. I have been through it, and then it still hits me up each and every time that I think about it. So these are key things that I will actually want to put across. Look for a suitable coping mechanism. Learn to share your information with people who are willing to listen to you, and then they will not be judgmental. They will not share your information. So that's it.
Wow, that's wonderful. Great tips there, Mustafa. Just a few of them. Test and know your status. Talk to someone. Talk to
Yes,
people.
I did you get what I said? I don't know whether you guys are getting
Yeah.
me.
Yes, I got
Yeah.
them. So you actually
Yeah.
said that people should test and know their
Okay.
statuses. That people should talk to
So
someone.
okay,
Yeah. People should talk to someone they trust, someone who will not
exactly.
judge them, someone
Mm.
who will not share their confidential information, and then people to explore ways of easing their pain. Cry. They should cry if they want to cry. They should not be ashamed to do
Who
so.
not be judgmental? Yeah.
Yeah, they should also learn about the condition so as to be able
Exactly.
to learn how to manage their condition. You prefer to call it a condition and not a disease, which I prefer it that way as well. It's a condition. And people should get plenty of sleep. You should do activities that you enjoy. And what people think about you does not really matter. Parents should know what a child wants and what a child needs. Parents should not label their children. Parents should accept their children the way they are. That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Tafa. It's been a pleasure having you today. And AC, your final words, and then we will round up.
Well, I think my final words wouldn't be very far from what Mustafa has already said. You
Mm-hmm.
know, to okay, I'll break them down.
Very
To
much.
those who are not yet married, and to everybody else, know your status. It's very
Mm-hmm.
important to know where you are, so that you know how you can walk this race that we call life, and so that you know all the tools that you have in your tool set. For those who already know that they are warriors or carriers, um, it is not a death sentence. You can live with it. Just know your strength, know your capacity, know how much you can take or how much you can do. That is what have kept me going for 40 years and some now. Know your capacity. You can be anything and everything you want to be. Not what society tells you, not what your parents tell you, what you want to be. But you need to know your strength. You want to be a footballer, you can be the next Etofis if you want. But you need to know that maybe while during training, while others are playing the full 90 minutes or 30 minutes of the first half, you can do a 20, you can do a 10. You can still play in that international cup. But your coach, tell your coach, I can play the first 20 minutes, and then you let me go and sit down, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll play after that. After the first half, I can play again another 10 minutes. Know your capacity. That is what will keep you going, so that you don't burn out, so that you don't run too fast and you finish the energy which you don't first of all have a lot. Surround yourself with networks. I wouldn't say network, but networks. When you live with sickle cell, you need a whole body of different networks. Networks of caregivers, doctors, nurses. Make them your friends. Discuss your condition with them, so that you get to know it like a scientist. Discuss it with them when you so that you are comfortable with talking to them, to the point when you sense something that's different in your normal, in what you know to be normal for you, you can immediately notify them. That's how you get to avoid uh, cases when something new wants to set in, because they'll be able to say, "I, if you are beginning to notice this thing, be careful. It is this, it is that, it is this." Surround your friend with networks. Doctors, surround yourself with networks. People who have positive mindsets, who would talk to you, who would encourage you. There are people like that. They may not have much to give you, but they'll never let you, when you talk to them and you come out from the conversation, you feel enriched. Surround yourself with networks. If you are in a career, people who are career minded, who would guide you on your career and tell you how to best take your career and how to manage it. Because when you get information from all these networks, you sit and you blend it all and you become that full person. Sickle but full. And learn to listen to you. You are the warrior. Nobody's living what you're going through, even your parents, even though even though they go through it and all the stress and all, but you are the one living through it each day. So listen to you. Look at yourself in the mirror every day and say, "Me, warrior. I will do what people say I cannot do. Even if I do it just 10%. So if I want to sing and they say I can't sing, I would sing. If I want to be the next Oprah and they say I can't be it, well, I'll start preparing for it. It is not over until God says it is over. So don't shut yourself out. Don't shut yourself down. Don't let anything hit you here. Preserve your mental, because out of it is the force that you need to run every day. It is your brain, your mind, your psyche that makes you to wake up and say, "Oh, another day that the Lord has made. Okay, let me go." And it is still that same brain that will make you say, "Oh, another day of pain. I don't want to go anywhere." Be strong and know you are not alone. There is a whole community of people living with sickle cell disease or with people having sickle cell trait. And for those who have sickle cell trait, don't say, "Oh, I have just the trait, so I am free." You are not free. you will make a sickle cell baby someday. So, and you can also get sick sometimes, no matter how mild it may be. So, also learn
Mm.
about it so that you can also help others who come around you to know what it is. Don't say, oh, I'm a trade person, I just have it in my blood, so it's not my fight. It's your fight. You make an error
Sure.
tomorrow and you have a sickle cell baby. So learn about it, talk about it, and to the whole world. We are humans before being people living with sickle cell. Treat us as such. The Bible says, do unto others what you want them to do to you. That's my motto. You want me to treat you with respect, treat me with respect. So treat us with love, understanding, respect. We are just like you. We may be slow, but we are there. It may take us 10 minutes to get to do something you would do in 1 second, but we'll do it and we'll get there. So take us as we are and help us to our leaders. Put in those policies, put in those regulations for medication so that we can be able to contribute to the fullest of our capacities to our nations. We are able to. We have the mental, we may be lacking in the physical sometimes, but sometimes even in that physical, we can. So give us what can help us to be good citizens, healthcare, and accept us when we come looking for jobs. Sickle cell doesn't mean we can't work. We can. Accept us. We can work. We can work 30 days a month, but understand us that in that 30 days a month we will work. The next month we might have a day or two, we'll say, boss, please permit me to just sleep in the house. Let me resource. Let me recharge. That's us. That's my message.
Oh, I'm so touched.
And a very powerful message. Oh my God. Whoa.
Exactly.
Did I tell you guys that I'm taking notes? You must be wondering why, how I'm able to recap what you say, because I have pen
Exactly.
and and I take notes because I believe so much in the power of learning. That's why I always emphasize that when you are watching a show here or an episode here, do not be carried away or do not be worried about the fact that this person is not watching or just a few people are watching. Be worried about what you will learn from here. Be worried with what you will take away from watching one show. And this is one of the richest shows we've had here at the Voice of Hope Media. And you may be sitting there saying, sickle cell is none of my business. It's none of my business. It's none of your business. Yes, but can you tell if somebody in your family doesn't have a thread unless they do a blood test, unless they go in for tests? You can never tell. You can never say it's none of my business because it may be knocking at your door. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday. So thank you so much, AC. You said know your status. And knowing your status is not a death sentence. You also said you can be anything, you can be everything you want to be, but you need to know your strengths and you need to know your capacity so as to avoid burnout. And this is not powerful, guys. These are people speaking from lived experiences. They are people who spend every single hour or every day of their lives knowing that this is an illness, this is a condition that I have, and I can have triggers. I can have pain at any one point. I can be admitted at the hospital at one point, but they've not stayed in bed. They've not sat there lamenting over the challenges, over the pains, or saying that this is the end of my life or I have to end it. They are here educating us. And I love the fact that you said, surround yourself with networks, not only network. And that networks include, I will call it MDT. It's a multidisciplinary team. Nurses, carers, parents, doctors, and what have you. Also with the job, also at the workplace, also people will have a positive mindset because When you are low, you don't want to speak to someone who will make you feel low, or who will make you feel worthless. You want to speak to someone who will uplift you. So you encourage people to surround themselves with people who can uplift you, can motivate you, people with a positive mindset. You said it is not over until God says so. So do not shut yourself down. Sickle, but not. What did you say? You are sickle, but you are full. And I would like to end this because it's too powerful. We are humans before sickle cell. So sickle cell does not define each and every one of you. Before sickle cell came, you were first of all a human being, and everyone should be able to know that. Everyone should be able to learn how to love, to accept, to understand, respect, as Anne said, and also to include everyone that has sickle cell disease. And we should be able to know that when they are going through the challenges that come with sickle cell, at some point in their lives, they may also struggle with their mental health. And as viewers, as parents, as friends, as relatives, we should be readily available to support them. And we should also be able to lend a listening ear when they decide to teach us on what the condition is, because it's in knowing that we will be able to understand, to accept, to love, and to include our brothers and sisters with sickle cell. So, guys, we now come to the end of our show today. Our topic of discussion once more was the complex relationship between sickle cell, pain, and mental health with Njay Budge, Mustafa Daboe, and Ayub Bison and Chantal. Very special thank you to all of you, and also to each and every one of you watching. You've been here since the show started, and thank you. We will see you again either Saturday or Sunday next week. Probably it will be July. So you guys take care of yourselves and continue to raise awareness. Continue to encourage people to know their status before, especially couples, before taking that final decision, because it's in coupling that we make sickle cell babies when you do not know your status. So thank you so much, everyone. So I may stay here for the next 1 hour.
Thank you very much.
It's a very interesting topic. So thank you. And we had just given a voice to a very special topic that people really have to take seriously. Because here at the Voice of
No
Hope Media,
problem.
we give a voice to
It
this.
was very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So we give a voice to this taboo. Yes, it is very emotional. Yes, they are very sensitive. And yes, what? These are people sitting here who are living the experience. They are not the ones complaining that it is sensitive, it is emotional, it is still a taboo topic. These are people living these conditions. And so see you again, guys, next week. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you.